What happens when a teen and parents finally find a path forward after a month of fear, confusion, and frustration with FND or functional neurological disorder? In today's interview, you will meet Poppy and her parents, Sally and Rob, who went from feeling lost and overwhelmed to reclaiming daily life like school and even work again. And I want you to hear from this family directly about their experience of struggling with FND, their day-to-day uncertainty, confusion, and fear, and then how they came to where they are now. Yes, it's really an inspiring story and powerful that many of you can relate to. By the way, my name is Dr. Lee, a pediatric health psychologist and the founder of Teen FND Academy, an online coaching program to help teens with FND and their parents, just like you, to get their life back. Because I believe recovering from FND is absolutely possible, just like Poppy. And this story is literally a proof that recovery starts when you have the right structure, skills, and support. So without further ado, let's dive in.
Hello. Can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi.
Pops.
Hello.
How are you, Dr.
Wait.
Lee?
Huh? Good. Poppy, where are you?
I'm at school.
Oh my.
So I thought she was going to be back by now, but she's not.
So we had to do it separately. But we
I
didn't
see.
change it again.
Does that work for you? Or
Oh yeah. Totally fine. How are you guys doing?
So nice to see
very
you.
good.
Yes, I know. Oh my gosh. It's so amazing. So around the time that you were like more than halfway done, there's actually another family from UK who is in the program right now. Yeah, so it's been good.
It's been a journey, hasn't it? It's been a really positive journey, hasn't it, Pops?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad, and I've been kind of waiting for, mostly me to brag about you, Poppy. amazing, journey for all of you. And then I also want to follow up with you about how things are going, like literally.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah?
that's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I would love to start with asking you guys sort of like how your life was, Poppy, with FND before you joined the program. So if you can kind of walk me through what's been going on, your symptoms, and how that was impacting your life. And then I will also ask your parents about their experience.
Yeah. So it was, when was it? It was over a year ago now. So, and I started off for the first month or so having full body spasms with my arms, my legs, and they were very big. And then since then, I've also had like eye problems, seizures, drop attacks, speech problems, paralysis, things that have affected my mood. Quite a few things, but it definitely impacted my life quite a lot. So I missed a lot of school, and I couldn't do a lot of things, and I missed out on quite a lot.
Yeah. It's almost like what didn't you have,
Yeah, it was,
And then Rob and Sally, what was it like for you guys as a parent?
I mean, if I can jump in from my perspective, I mean, it was really, really hard. Initially you kind of thought, well, what on earth's going on here? When she was getting her, sort of arm and leg movements going all over the place. And then things did get better for a while, but then things got a lot worse, really. And then so sort of this all started about September last year. And then by sort of February, March time, we'd been seeing a neurologist back in England who was basically saying he diagnosed it as FND, but he kept on saying, don't worry about it. It'll just go. There's nothing to worry about. But actually, everything was getting worse. So probably by sort of March time last year, or just before we met you, it was really difficult. Poppy was struggling massively, really difficult to watch. We were kind of constantly, concerned, all day basically about, how Poppy was doing, what she could do.
You were having to be around there a lot, like all the time, weren't you?
Yeah, basically from January, you were having seizures and drop attacks, weren't you? So it could be up to 30, 40 drop attacks a day. So it was very difficult to go anywhere at all.
As well as
you just even couldn't walk from the kitchen to the sitting room sometimes, could you, without about 10 drop attacks. And then seizures as well, where you'd have full body paralysis for sometimes up to 3 hours. And all you could do is kind of blink your eye or wiggle a finger so we knew you could hear you, and you were absolutely fine. Then you'd get up almost sometimes as if nothing had happened and get on with your life. But yeah, it was very, very debilitating for Poppy. And obviously for us, we just wanted everything to resolve itself so Poppy could get most of her life back. But it was difficult.
And I guess what I found really difficult was the fact that we didn't seem to have a plan or a roadmap to get there. So, the neurologist saying things would get better, would just stop. But actually, it seemed to be getting really bad. And, it's really distressing. And so I guess it was the lack of a way forward, which was most worrying, really. And the sort of thinking, well, where's this going to end up sort of thing. And that's basically where we're at just before we spoke to you for the first time.
Yeah. A lot of uncertainty, right? And a lot of fear with it. And it doesn't help to hear, oh, it's going to get better. Like how, when, where, all the questions unanswered. And it's really difficult to sit in as a parent, in those things, right? Like, what do you mean it's going to get better? It doesn't look like it. And then for you, Poppy, too, you're the one who was going through it. Just the amount of frustration you had, just difficult.
Yeah, it was really frustrating. And also, like, especially at the beginning, it was so weird and so bizarre. So like, and I didn't really understand why it was happening. So it was quite very confusing, frustrating, and then definitely made me very, very tired as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I hear you.
I think the lack of any consistent information as well available. So the A&E, the emergency departments in the hospital, one person said it could be this and was very helpful and pointed me to a help page. But then the neurologist, as we said, was really reassuring and very kind and told us what it was about and told us to find a psychologist. But we really didn't know why or how to find someone and access services that were specialist in FND, because there's only a few of them in the UK and they have a waiting list of well over a year to get onto. And then you look on the internet and there's a lot of information, and now we're kind of part of the way through of a sort of helping Poppy, and having been through your program, I'm starting to understand now how that could be helpful. But when you're starting from zero with no experience, no knowledge of the psychology of it, no knowledge of how neurophysio might help or other therapies might help, it's really like trying to find a needle in a haystack. There's no very clear parameters to work by.
And every time we thought, we kept on thinking, that's the reason, Poppy needs migraine glasses, or she needs, it's dairy and gluten free, we need to chop that out, or it's because of she's got an infection. And a lot of the time that was all making perfect sense, but then it would then be disproved almost. So you get all excited that, that's the reason it's happening, and then it would work for a little while, but then would stop working really. So very, and your course, I think from my perspective, it's all about positive psychology and I guess rewiring the pathways, meshing pathways, back into where they should be. And back in the day, I would have been very, very skeptical about that. But I found it, if it hadn't been the fact that it's been happening to Poppy, I would find the whole subject absolutely fascinating, because it's the power of the mind and the whole that side of stuff. I think it's incredible, and I think it's been really interesting to see how modern medicine is just a tiny part of the jigsaw of overall health.
That's right. Yeah. And since you guys are in the UK, somehow, miraculously, you found my program.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, was it you, Dad, who found it? I think you watched he watched one of your videos and then saw, about the course. But yeah, I found the course so helpful. I think particularly in, I've learned so much about what it is, how coping mechanisms. Like, I've also feel a lot more connected to my body, and I can, at the beginning, I never knew if I'd have something coming on, it would just happen. Whereas now I can kind of feel it coming on. I know if there's certain triggers and things to be aware of. Yeah.
That's right. So then you joined the program earlier in the springtime, I remember, right? So it's always interesting to, hear from every family about the journey of what was it like, because every time I discover that family comes in only to want to get rid of FND, right? And then to learn what FND actually is, and then how to get better. And importantly, how to define, the recovery, right? Like what is the goal? And, we talk about getting your life back, right? Yeah. And so you don't wait until things get better to go back to your life. Yeah. That can be counterintuitive, for a lot of families. And so I was curious to hear from you guys about what your experience was. What was it like to learn more about FND? What you found it helpful?
Yeah, so I think definitely just learning a bit more about it in general that you kind of get to at the beginning of the course is a very good way to start the course, to understand, right, this is the kind of thing that's going on and the kind of things you can expect. Or, if you've had, you have so many bizarre symptoms that you can be like, actually, it's like, it is a symptom and other people have had these before, even though they are really weird. And also, I think, that's when you talk about the goals and the aims, because obviously everyone at first is like, well, I just want to be better. That's it. But actually, I really learned it was more about daily goals, daily aims, not having high expectations, and instead just focusing on taking it day by day and not putting any pressure on myself and just taking it day by day. And yeah.
That's great. Yeah. What about you guys, parents, Sally and Rob? What did you find helpful?
I think what I found really helpful was that because it was a step-by-step guide, so you had the 6-month course, but you had to, I found it really helpful that we had to do it, because if we had to do it, it would have been quite easy, because we were just so busy trying to help Poppy, to have let Poppy got on and looked at it every now and then. Whereas, there's a bit of Rob saying, have you done this module yet? And vice versa. And then we could discuss it. And then we knew why and how Poppy was doing what she needed to do. So that was a really key part of it for us. But it was the step by step and having a full strategy set out. And you could see the modules ahead, but you couldn't jump to them too far. So it meant that you had to really have time to consolidate each module that you were learning step by step, and also having time to even practice some of those things that Poppy's practicing myself, to think, actually, that's a really useful tool for life. Pacing and, all those sort of different strategies, and just also reminding myself, I'm a yoga teacher, a homeopath. I've worked in holistic healthcare for a long time, but you get carried away with the business of life and the pressures and the fast pace of life, and remembering how much that you have to come back and center yourself and pace yourself and have positive strategies for yourself every day, regardless of what you're doing. And that mind-body connection, how important that actually is for fundamental mental well-being, ability to live your life properly, connect with others, all those sorts of things. I thought that sort of step-by-step approach and all the different strategies were really good for us to have to do as well.
And I do think, for people like Poppy's had FND, but I think, what she's learned during the last year, Poppy's been phenomenal, in my opinion, how resilient she's been and how positive she's been, even when we've been like really, really worried. But I think, it's been a tough 12 months for Poppy. First 9 months, that was really tough for Poppy. Poppy's getting on great now. But, I think the stuff she's learned over the last year, and you jump in here, Poppy, but, that's going to be massively, massively powerful for you over the years. And the fact that you've been able to go through what you've been through, come out the other side feeling good, that could be your superpower in life, really. So I think it's, Pops, what do you think?
I definitely agree with that. And all the stuff that I've learned, even though I barely have any symptoms anymore and I'm so much better, it's still all the symptoms I've learned that I still need to pace myself, or even if I don't do it daily, it's something that I know if I do get to any stressful period or any time when I'm tired at any point in life, I can use those strategies to help me. And I think they're really helpful. And I think another good thing about the course is, because obviously so many people with FND, they're very tired, some might not have that energy, or some might be, not well enough, but it's very easy to do. You can do it in your own time. It's all the things, like all the techniques and everything you learn, they're very easy to do, and they're very you can do them in your own time, and it's very easy to do. So that's really good as well.
And I think the modules, the modules are, what are they, 4 minutes long each? They're dead easy to watch. There's no real reason why someone can't find the time to watch, a 4-minute module every day. They're dead easy. They're very informative. And as Poppy says, a lot of the techniques, grounding and, singing in the shower and, and doing a bit of meditation every day. It's all great stuff, isn't it? And it's all very doable in your daily life. And it's a very, very good course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is for us, because we're in the UK, I would have absolutely loved to have done a bit more of the group phone calls, which I think was brilliant, but it was like 1 a.m. for us and we were already so tired trying to deal with, helping Poppy as much as we could. So that was the only thing I think we probably missed out on just because of the timings. I know Poppy did a few of them and found them quite helpful. I know that they're recorded and I, did look through a couple of those, but when you're not involved with it, it's not as good. But I think the opportunity to do that is amazing. And had we been in the US, we would have been on there a lot more, I think. So that's
right. Yeah. I remember, Poppy, you joined a few calls, and so you got to interact with other teens, right?
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what was it like for you to know that there are other teens who are going through the same thing?
It's so good. Well, obviously it's not good, but it's good to know that there's other people out there that are experiencing, FND. It's so different for everyone. So many people have different symptoms, but it's really nice to know that it's not just you, because there's such bizarre symptoms, you don't see many people with the symptoms. So knowing it kind of reassures you that it's okay. And as well, it's quite comforting, and it's also helpful because you can hear what they have to say about it. You can hear maybe things they've done, or hearing them say, like at the beginning when maybe I wasn't very well, and maybe one of them was doing a bit better, hearing how much better they have got is definitely very motivating and makes you feel, okay, well, if they've done that, so can I. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's such an inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I really like what you said, Poppy, about instead of focusing on a big goal and then give yourself pressure of getting rid of this as soon as possible or however long, right? You're focusing on one day at a time. And so you're having 1,000 small wins, and that, really accumulates to a bigger thing. And then we also talk about the improvement isn't necessarily all about the absence of symptoms, right? Then you're always looking out for whether there is a symptom or not. And if you have a symptom, then automatically that means you failed, if that is the only focus. So I'm really glad that you were all working as a team to gradually, right, with baby steps to get back to life, whether it's a school or, family function or just social, hanging out with friends. And it sounds normal, but it's a big deal, right? With the recovery. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's one thing about FND, it is very up and very down. You might be feeling, 1 week you might be feeling amazing, and the next day you might spend half the day on the floor. So it's very, very up and down. But I think one of the biggest things I learned is actually at the beginning, it was kind of like maybe I would have a few days and I'd feel really good and I'd get really excited. Then I'd have one, but then I'd get really angry, I'd get really sad. Whereas now I very rarely have them. But when I do, I take it more like, why did I have one? Maybe I was tired, maybe I was stressed, maybe I need to pace myself a bit more. But I don't worry about it, and I don't get stressed about it or sad or anything.
Yeah, I think Poppy's been amazing in that, because on your modules, Dr. Lee, where you show that it's not a straight line getting better every day. And I guess as parents, you go sort of 4 or 5 weeks and nothing's happened, and then it's like, oh no. And whereas we've probably found that more difficult than Pops, and actually Pops has been amazing, because Pops knows that if she has something, that doesn't mean just, it's all gone back to the start. She's fine, and you've been quite relaxed about it, Pops, and which is exactly what you should be. And I think you've been amazing like that with Pops, because you've been really, now you're hardly, it's been weeks since you've had anything, isn't it? It's ages since you've had anything. So
I think as well, so Pops at school, so obviously she missed sort of over half of the year for school last year, which is a real shame for you, Pops, wasn't it? But her attitude, I think all of the school staff and her school mates and people in her house at school have just been absolutely amazed by her resilience and positivity. And she got a huge award at the end of last year, end of term. having spent a couple of hours on pavements around school and things like that, she'd just kind of get up and carry on and go back to her lesson. And that was another part of your course, which was really helpful for us, how to get Poppy back into school, how to explain it to the staff, how to get them on our side, and the importance of trying not to pay too much attention and focus on the symptoms, to allow Poppy to retrain her brain and just move on when she needed to. And that was really, really helpful. And I have to say, the school have been really amazing at trying to support Poppy to do as much as she feels that she could do. But that is a lot because of Poppy's super positive and resilient attitude, which I think has been supported by all the skills and strategies. Yeah. Big thumbs up for Pops.
Yeah, we all get to brag about her, right?
Yeah.
I love it. So fast forward now, I didn't know you got an award, and all I knew was you had a great summer, right? So where are things since you started the program in terms of getting your life back?
So I'd say it was around middle of May, beginning of June was when I was definitely starting to see much more progress, and I was definitely starting to feel much more better. I was at that time, I was still having to pace myself. I was still having a few things, but it was much less. And I was still having to pace myself and just make sure I was doing all the right things to make sure I was going to carry on getting better. And then, over the summer, I was great. I only had the very odd occasional thing, and that was due to sometimes when I get too hot, I might have something. But other than that, all my things I had, which was barely any, was just due to specific triggers.
Boy, have you been partying too hard, Pops?
A few parties.
So, and over summer, I was able to do everything normally, and I could go out and do stuff. I could go on holiday. I was, being able to do all the stuff that I
being in an airport, you managed it so well because it was stressful. But also, I think my highlight for Poppy, it kind of summed up the progress that she made, and it's a photo of her in her bikini and bare feet scaling a huge rock in Greece, about to jump off the rock and down, I don't know how many meters.
Yeah, I mean, Sal was
30 meters into the sea, and it was terrifying watching. But
Mum was terrified.
I was terrified that the boys did it, to be fair. I think that's just terrifying watching a child jump off a cliff. But Poppy was really amazing, and it's just felt like freedom for her.
Yeah. I think since then, so obviously now it's November now, I've been at school every day, all the time. I've been able to stay for the whole day. Today I'm here later. I had my first, I've done some nights boarding at school as well. I've started doing a bit of work at a wine bar as well. So I've started doing some work.
Oh my God.
I've gone out and I've been doing stuff with my friends. And everything's just almost completely back to normal now.
Giving as well. That's on you.
You have actually also done your mock A-levels as well, which is obviously a stressful time. So I think we're all sort of going to see how that's gone. But Poppy's handled that really well, and it's been tiring, hasn't it? And there's work to catch up on, but she's done really, really well at focusing on that and getting through the exams.
Wow. So just kind of looking back, where you started this whole journey and then where you are now, would you say, I mean, it sounds like you got your life back, Poppy, and then some.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think at the beginning, it definitely seems like you have a long way to go. I think one of the biggest things is every time you get better and then you get worse, and every time it's you feel like it's not going to get better. And there was so many times I was like, this is just going to happen forever. I'm not going to feel better. This is awful. But then actually, I think you've just really got to focus on the fact that for me and other people, they've been through the same thing and they've got through it as well. And even though it's really hard, it's everybody can definitely get through it, and it's different for different people. But I think the course was so helpful, and you learned so many things. Basically it used to seem like I'd never get better, and here I am, basically back to normal.
Yeah. And I also asked the parents the same question to you guys too, Sally and Rob. Did you get your daughter back?
Yeah. Great to see. Just great to see. Very, very, very happy. I mean, like back in March, just from Uber, just all you could think about all day, really, whether, how Pops was doing, to now seeing having a great time. She's working on weekends. She's doing really well at school. She's having good nights out. She's, you're a happy girl, aren't you, Pops? So,
and I think all of that definitely got her life back. But I think she's got so much more. I think she's got strategies which will help her for the rest of her life. But also, I think, have given you, Poppy, I'm sure you'd say, a level of empathy which you would never have had appreciated for other people who have difficult times, but with a positive attitude as well, that you can just get through it. And I think for us as well, we definitely take a leaf out of Poppy's book. It's just amazing. It's amazing. And we know that there may be some times where it's not as good. There could be possibilities like that. But I think
I definitely know how to deal with those situations now. And I'm understanding of my body and what I need to do and how to do it. And then even if I have had one thing one day, then I could go months or weeks and weeks without having anything and being absolutely fine. And I think the key thing is, like, even though it's so stressful, it sounds hard, but try not to stress too much because it will get better. I mean, that is hard at the time, definitely.
It's all about the hero mindset, isn't it, Pop?
It is the
hero mindset. Smash the hero.
And it might never come back again. That's the other.
Exactly.
True. Yeah. And I agree. What you have learned, Poppy, was not to live your life, continue to avoid, right? What's hard. You know exactly how to come back from anything and everything. And that's a resilience that you have, learned and mastered. And then you continue to, carry on, right? Like your mom was saying, for the rest of your life. And that is becoming part of who you are. Nobody can take that away from you, right? So you continue to keep that, right, to yourself and then continue to build, right? So what would you say to other families who are, watching this video or thinking about the program, just kind of thinking about where you were and where you are now? And, there's a lot of things you can relate to with other families. So I'm curious what you would say.
I think I'd just say, it will get better. It might take time and you're going to have ups and downs. There's no doubt about that. You will. But there is ups and there's loads of ups and you'll continue to have loads of great ups. And everything will get better. You just need to practice your techniques and you need to keep calm and try not to put too much pressure on yourself.
I think with the program itself, although there's resources out there, and there are some services, certainly in the UK, they're few and far between, very long waiting lists. And to start with, you sort of look at the price, because in the UK, we don't pay for healthcare. You can pay for healthcare, but we don't have to. And we're really fortunate. We do have some really amazing centres, but it takes so long. So when you look at the price and you think, oh, blimey, but actually when you put that across 6 months and divide it by 3 per person per month, I think it's amazing. I think it's great. We know that it works. And had we not done it for these 6 months, I think it would have taken us so much longer to try and find and piece together all the bits and pieces off the internet and from the research papers and from videos to try and muddle through and make something for ourselves. Whereas this just took all of the stress out at a very stressful time with a really clear structure, really clear progression, very straightforward explanations of why and what's happening and how and the techniques to try and move forward. And also, really importantly for us, how to parent Poppy. And there's no information I've seen anywhere else about that. How we should parent a teen with FND to help her and ourselves to move forward. Because I think some of the things may be a bit counterintuitive. So that was really, really useful.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I agree with all of those. And it really speaks to the work that you all put into. Because learning and understanding is one thing, but you have to work on it. You take action, and it's not like difficult, it's simple, right?
It's not Yeah, I was just going to say it's not difficult and it is simple, but you just have to do it consistently. And that's what I'd say to others as well, is keep in your mind why you're doing this and make sure you are doing it consistently, because it's such a big reward, because it is so helpful and it will help you get so much better, so much quicker.
I love it. Yeah. And you're living proof. Right? Yeah. I'm so proud of you, all of you, for working through. And despite the time zone, I really appreciate showing up for yourself, right? For the family. And I'm really, really impressed how far you have come and getting your life back. And that is literally the biggest, reward that I can see, for working together. So thank you so much for showing up for yourself.
The only question I've got is, can you train a UK counterpart for yourself? So use it as a blueprint and train a psychologist to do a UK one, because I think there's plenty of people there. I've recommended it to quite a few people, and there's things I'd like to do to sort of help the FND community now. Things are bit better, but that's one thing, because we're waiting for so long for the specialist services in the UK. Set up the Dr. Lynn brand globally.
It's just a matter of when. It's gonna happen. And I actually met with family from other parts of Europe, and they're in the same position, right? Lack of resource, lack of access, and that's just everywhere. And so there's so much anyone can do, but when we work together as a team and in a group, this is just going to get even more accessible. So I am 100% aligned with you. Agree that is coming.
And I've got two questions for you, Dr. Lee. First of all, I think it'd be really helpful if, I don't know what you think about this, Pops, but even if Poppy could have access to the modules again, either sort of whether we pay or partly pay or whatever, but like, if would you find it helpful even if you're looking at a module every sort of 2 or 3 days, Pops, or once a week type thing, just to remind yourself about stuff? Would you find that helpful, Pops?
Yeah.
I can actually even do better. So the new curriculum is coming up in like early, probably in January. And then with the new curriculum, it's going to be all new videos. And then there is going to be a playbook that goes with it, and one for parents and one for teens. And so everyone who came through my program so far will get that access to.
Awesome.
Cool.
And the final question I had was, and I'm not sure either, Pops hasn't had anything for like 5 weeks now, I'd say, or 5 weeks, Pops, or something.
But you've hardly had anything really.
And you've not really had much at all really since. But Pops still gets tired at times. Now, sometimes Pops can get tired, and she, if the right people come in the room, whatever, Pops can snap out of it really quickly and can suddenly find loads of energy again. But sometimes, sometimes she gets tired, and do you find it sometimes you're tired for a bit longer, Pops? And I was going to say...
I was quite tired. I was quite tired this morning. I was really tired this morning, but I'm much better this afternoon.
Yeah. And so my question was along the lines of, what was my question, Sal?
About fatigue.
No, about, do you think with your pacing yourself and Pops, which obviously the pacing is massively important, is there some of that, do you think, because are you worried that sometimes it might happen, so you sort of, that you're pacing yourself, or you're
anticipating coming on, maybe? Or does that stop you from doing what you want to do? So are you feeling more tired, and then you worry about being tired because you worry about what might happen, and then so you stop yourself, and then you really are tired because you're worrying about something could happen?
No, I don't think so, because when I get tired, I don't think I'm going to have one. This morning I was tired, and I was finding it, I was a bit slow in lessons today, but I didn't think, I knew I wasn't going to have one.
Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, cool, yeah, nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's been amazing, Dr. Lee, and Pops. I think Poppy has been absolutely amazing with it all, really, so... Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people in Poppy's situation, if they didn't have something like your thing to turn to, could have such a negative effect on people.
Well, I think I know. It's just I know people who have had over a year not at school and things like that because they've not been able to access the help. So big difference.
Absolutely, yes. So of course, my pleasure. And just to answer your question, Poppy, when you're feeling tired, it's always, helpful to think about like, oh, did I sleep right last night? Or what could be causing it too. If there is anything that you can relate to, like, oh yeah, maybe I worked out too much, or whatever, right? Then you can experiment, let's see how I do when I sleep better, or, something like, there's always, that kind of thing happening, right? And then for parents, if you are seeing Poppy having that feeling super tired, then if you are also worried, is Poppy thinking that this is going downhill? Then that thinking, can transfer.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Your nervous system, right? Just can transfer.
Yeah, energy
right?
transfer. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, even I think that's like a big thing is like, I definitely used to, like, a few months ago, it would be like, if I was tired, I'd be like, oh, maybe, but now, like, I don't think that at all. Like, I could be exhausted and still know I'm not going to have one.
Yeah, actually, and you've not been tired that often, actually, Pops, have you, really? I mean, you're tired on Monday night, weren't you? But that's the only time recently, really, so yeah.
I think doing A-level mocks is enough to make most people tired. It's a lot of brain power.
Right? Yeah. So there's a reason, right, for it, right? And then it's okay to not have a obvious reason sometimes, right? And so parents, your job is to continue to show up with 100% trust. Yeah. Poppy can get through it. Poppy can figure out, right? Yeah. And then we are trusting her. Right. And then that vibe is going to transfer to Poppy, where she feels more confident, no pressure. Right. And then, oh, okay, I can continue to practice and get better. That. So that is the environment you're creating, which is amazing job you have done so far. So continue, to have that environment. Right. Yeah. I'm very, very proud of you. So I will email you when that new curriculum is ready. And we actually moved to a new community. So I'm also creating like a graduate community space where you would have access to the course and, something else. So I'm trying to figure out what is it that I can do to continue to support for some families who might benefit from it, right? My goal is I want you to get better like as fast as possible. So you know what I mean? Like you got everything you need. Yeah. But I don't want you to feel like, oh, now what do I do? I'm all alone, kind of thing, right? So it's an amazing community. So I'll keep in touch with all of you and I'll send you the announcement when it's ready. Okay?
Perfect.
Thanks very much. It's fantastic. Thank you.
That's great. And then, Dr. Lee, what are you going to do with the video interview? Does that go to people? Or do you have it to just record?
Yeah. So this interview will be on my YouTube channel for other families to watch. And I think there will be a link on my website, for someone who finds my website without knowing there's a YouTube channel. And so they would see that too.
I should have put makeup on. I didn't think about that.
You look amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much, all of you, for your time.
Thank you.
Bye.
And we
so
look
good
forward
to see
hearing you too. Look forward to hearing from you about the graduate thing. So
yes, absolutely. Yeah. Keep in touch. All right. Take care, Poppy.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow. Talking about the dedication from the family, even though they were in a massive different time zone from UK. It was such a delight to have Poppy on teen coaching calls where she was inspiring others too, while she was inspired by others. If you want to see how my full program of Teen FND Academy works and how it's helping families resolve FND for real, then watch the video linked in the description box below. So if you're a parent watching this and wondering how to help your teen get their life back, don't wait for things to just get better. You've got this, and thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.